the angel of the covenant and the mystery of Song of Solomon, chapter 5. That's what we're going to talk about in this video, guys. And, of course, the message that we have is the teaching of the book of Revelation and the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, as his coming is so soon. Now, as he comes, he sits on his throne in power and glory, and then it is the angelic hosts that carry out the activities. Okay, so he sits on the throne. He stands in the midst of the seven golden candlesticks in Revelation chapter 1. All right. But then after that, the Lamb is on the throne, and it is the angels that perform Yahweh's judgments upon the earth. Now, the principal angel, all right, for the whole book of Revelation, for the whole thing, is the angel, we give him the title, the angel of the covenant. He is the mighty angel. He is the angel with the little book in his hand. Okay? He has the little book in his hand, which we'll see in Revelation chapter 10. And you can see everything here. We're also going to display all these things and show you this principal role. Now, we believe his appearance is right now, that the things that he is assigned to do, he is currently doing right now. Now, the purpose of this video is to show you how he leads and interacts throughout all the proceedings of the book of Revelation. We see him, Christ says, he signified, all right, he endorsed. It's like an insignia. It's like a seal. It's like a logo by his angel, okay, to his servant John. All right, so that's in Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. So the very first verse of the book of Revelation talks about this angel. And then it talks about him again in the end of the book, Revelation chapter 22, the last chapter, verse 16, says he testified of these things of his angel to the seven Ekklesia. Okay, to the seven Ekklesias, and or the seven churches. So he begins the proceedings of the book, okay, Revelation 1. You see him at the end, and he participates in the seven Ekklesia, testifying to them, the seven seals, the seven trumpets, all right, and the seven bowls. The seven golden bowls, okay. We can find his interactions throughout the whole book. So let's summarize them real quick for you, because we can kind of show you some of these things. So, as we said, he's in the seven Ekklesia because he testifies to the seven Ekklesia, all right, being a type of the seven menorah. That is Revelation 22, Revelation 1. Then we find him in Revelation chapter 5, verse 1, when a mighty angel, Iskrios, I may not be pronouncing that right in the Greek, mighty angel. Okay, so he is the mighty angel, and he asks in a loud voice, proclaiming, preaching, who is worthy to open the book and release the seven seals. Okay, so he is, there is a book, or a scroll, however you want to call it, but the book is sealed. No one could look at the book. No one could look at it and release the seven seals. And John wept much. But it was the Lamb that was worthy to look at the book and to open the seven seals. Okay, but it's the mighty angel that we are calling the angel of the covenant that poses the question in the proceedings before the throne in Revelation chapter 5. All right, and then we find him, all right, in Revelation 10. Okay, in Revelation 10, we see, actually let's take a look and let's read it. Revelation 10:1, and I saw another mighty angel, Iskrios angel, come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, with the rainbow upon his head, and his face were as the sun, and his feet were pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open. He set his right foot upon the sea, okay, and his left foot upon the earth. All right, so this is him. And he cried with a loud voice, when a lion roars, and he cried, seven thunders uttered their voices. And when the seven thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard the voice from heaven saying, Seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and on the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swore by him that lived forever and ever, who created the heavens and the earth, and the sea and the things that are in, that there be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he begin to sound, okay, that's the trumpet, when he begins to sound, that's the last trumpet, the seventh trumpet, when he begins to sound. So that's, this angel is participating in the trumpet proceedings there, all right, as he has that the mystery of God should be finished, which he has declared to the servants of prophets. And the voice which I heard of heaven spake and said, Go, take the little book which is in the hand of the angel that stands upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went to the angel, and he said to him, Give me the little book. And he said, Take it, eat up the little book, take it, eat in my belly, and it'll be bitter, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey. Okay, so here we see the book, and it is sweet. All right. And these are important things as we continue to go through and do this study. And then John says, I took the little book from the angel's hand, and I ate it, and it was in my mouth, sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it in my belly, it was bitter. And he said, You must prophesy again to many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. And the prophecy is continuing. And there was given unto me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel, who had angel? The same one, the mighty angel, the angel of covenant, said, Rise, measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. Okay, so here we see the angel of covenant. We see his role. We see the precise things that he is doing and his activities. All right, there in Revelation chapter 10 and then in verse 1 of chapter 11. All right, so we're just going to summarize. That's him. All right, we're saying that's him. And then he also is in Revelation chapter 14. I looked, and behold, a white cloud. The one that sat upon it was like the Son of Man. Okay, so he's like the Son of Man. All right, having on his head a golden crown, in his hand a sharp sickle. Okay, so now we saw the feature there was the reed like a rod, rise, measure the temple. He had the little book. Okay, John was instructed, eat the little book. And here we see him with the sickle. All right, and a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice at him that sat upon the cloud, saying, Thrust your sickle, reap, for the time is at hand. Now, it's because this other angel is coming from the temple, we know this is not the Lord Jesus Christ. It is another angel that is like the Son of Man. It is not the Son of Man. It is like the other Son of Man, because another angel cannot tell Christ, the Son of Man, what to do. Okay? Okay, he will be issuing the decrees. But here we have another angel instructing another angel who is like the Son of Man. Okay? Thrust your sickle, reap, for the time is come to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat upon the cloud thrust his sickle in the earth, and the earth was reaped. Now we consider this harvest to be the wheat harvest, okay? Thrusting the sickle. And then there's another angel in the next verse which reaps the grape harvest. But here in 14, this is the angel of the covenant. It's the same one because he starts the book, he ends the book. And then we also find him with a predominant role as the mighty angel in Revelation 18. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. Again, mighty is Iskrios, and he takes up a millstone, a great millstone. He takes the millstone, and he casts the millstone into the sea. Okay, so here we see the activities of the angel of the covenant throughout the book of Revelation. All right, that is just a quick summary. This is all the same person, the same angel, called the angel of the covenant. Now, we can solidify and strengthen the fact that this main angel, exhibits all these characteristics of these various roles, okay, in Song of Solomon chapter 5. Okay, now we have other videos where we kind of talk about some of the things we've just mentioned to you, so they're not really new. But really what we discover, we really believe that this angel is performing these tasks right now, okay? In fact, let's talk about what his tasks are. let's go to Malachi. If we go to Malachi chapter 3, we can see many of these things, but a little bit more detail. Verse 1, behold, I will send my messenger, Malach, angel, and he will prepare the way before me. Even the Lord, Adon, whom you seek, he will suddenly come into the temple, even the messenger here is the same word as angel of the covenant. This is where we get the name angel of the covenant. In whom you delight, behold, he shall come, says Yahweh of hosts. But but who will abide in the day of his coming? So he will have a day of his coming. Who shall stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire and like a fuller's soap. So before we were talking about, washing our garments, okay, washing our garments, preparing for the Lord's coming, okay, it is this angel that really has the soap, the fuller's soap, that purifies the people, all right? And he will sit as a refiner, all right, refining like in a furnace, to purify the silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offer of sacrifice. Okay, so this is him here. And then it talks about the little book. Okay, and when they that fear the Lord spoke one to another, Yahweh hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him, of them that feared him and thought upon his name. Those that feared the Lord, the book of remembrance was written. That is the little book that's in the angel's hand. Okay, so that's a little bit of insight into the angel of the covenant, and with all those various details, I'm showing you these things so you keep this imagery of what he does, what his role comes. So he comes, he purifies. Okay, he has the fuller soap. He's like a furnace when he comes. And who will be able to stand? Okay, because it talks about there in Malachi, he removes the sorcerers and the witches and the Jezebels and the Balaams and the false prophets from the midst of the Ekklesia. And, we're seeing that. So then what we did is an exhaustive study of Song of Solomon chapter 5. That's really the main purpose of this video, is to get into the types of all these things. So let's kind of summarize a bit with some of the things that we're going to show you and display. Now, basically what we want to conclude with the things we're showing here is that all of this is in Song of Solomon 5, where we see the tablet. Okay, we'll explain the tablet, the stylus, okay, or the pen, things related to the scroll, all right, the incense, okay, the ink. We saw in the previous video, there's things related to the angel. He's clothed in fine linen, and there's an angel that has an inkhorn by his side. Okay, but in the Greek, that's a tablet, a writing tablet. And what he does is he has the inkhorn, or he has a stylus, he has the pen, and he goes about marking those that are crying out for the abomination. So those are the ones with the seal of God. That's in Ezekiel chapter 9. We talked about that in the previous video, and how the curse tablet has come out and been released. So we could see before how the angel of the covenant relates to the trumpets. And then in our study, we're going to show you how the angel of the covenant relates to the 4 horses, okay, of the seals, okay, and the wheels. So pretty much all the angelic orders of the bowls, the seals, the trumpets, all of this we can find in Song of Solomon chapter 5. In fact, I kind of have 2 pages of notes, and I still ran out of room to fit all the information. So another one that's not on here is, remember how he ate the scroll and it was sweet. Okay, well, it's also sweet. Well, we'll look at the sweet in a little bit. But what we have is a 2 pages note. So now let's take a look at our notes, and we'll show you all the detail. What we're going to do, guys, is we have Hebrew. We're going to look at the words in Hebrew. We're going to look at the words in Greek in the Septuagint. Okay, because when we look at both, we can get the Septuagint, which is in Greek, and the book of Revelation is in Greek. So we can see a correspondence between the Greek text and the book of Revelation very clearly. And the Hebrew also has very deep and profound things. So we cannot just only use Hebrew. We cannot just only use Greek. When we look at some of these verses, they're very mysterious. Remember, he was like the Son of Man. So we might look in Song of Solomon chapter 5 and say, well, that's the beloved. Yes, but remember how we saw the angel of the covenant is the one whom you delight. So this is amazing, guys. It's a deep study. Be patient as we go through it, but we're basically going to prove all the things that we're showing you here. We're basically going to prove it all in here. We're going to show you the tablet, the stylus. We're going to show you the horse riders. Okay, we're going to show you the scroll. We're going to show you the incense, how he has the incense, and then many, many other things. And we can see that this is an angel here in Song of Solomon 5. All right, here's our notes. And as we said, we have 2 pages of notes. We actually have the title of the notes here at the bottom. It's actually the way I normally do the notes. I actually turned it upside down. It worked out a little bit better to have the column here to the left is going to be English, this is going to be Hebrew, and this is going to be Greek. And you can see we have 2 pages, so English, Hebrew, Greek, second portion. So again, the first page is entitled Angel of the Covenant, Song of Solomon, chapter 5, part 1. And what we'll do, guys, is we'll make these notes available on the website in a blog post. So I'll make a blog post, and in the blog post, I will have these pages so that you can print them off, okay? Before we get into this, I want to do a quick summary of the angel covenant, how his role is also with the 4 angels message. Now, these are notes from a previous video. It's part of the 7 Thunders playlist. But the 4 angels, what we're talking about here, is Revelation chapter 14. There are 4 angels that have 4 messages that they release. And what we can do is take those and correspond them to the angel of the covenant in Revelation 18, and we can see a perfect alignment. So, for example, fear God, give glory to him, for the hour's judgment is come, worship him. All right? Then we see rejoice over her, heaven, saints, apostles, and prophets. So that's the first angel's message, and the angel of the covenant confirms that message, Revelation 18. Babylon is fallen. We see Babylon thrown down. If anyone worship the beast, it is the angel of covenant that also solidifies that the mark of the beast is the pharmakia. He makes that clear once we do this analysis and compare. If any man worship the beast's image and receive the mark, well, we see the beast worship, okay, all right, with the pipers and the musicians related to the beast worship in Daniel 3, all right, but then it gives us insight into the light shall shine no more in you, okay, the voice of bridegroom of Christ won't be heard, and the voice of the bride of Christ won't be heard any more of those that take the mark for the sorcery. So this proves that the mark of the beast is the pharmakia. The word in Greek, sorcery, is pharmakia, and that proves that the mark of the beast is the pharmakia, the angel of covenant, solidifies the 3rd angel's message. And the 4th angel's message is, here's the patience of the saints, of those who keep the commandments of God. Then he says, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. And it says in Revelation 18, in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints. Okay? So, so again, right after these 4 angels, then we get, behold, a white cloud. Him that sat upon it was like the Son of Man, having his head a golden crown, in his hand a sharp sickle. Okay, so that's why we're showing you the sickle, because it is the angel of the covenant, all right, with the sickle, and he confirms the 4 angels' message. So we want to show you that first, okay? So he confirms actually the whole book of Revelation, all the various proceedings. Now, here's our notes for here today, and as I said, we'll make these available to you. And as you can see at the top here, we'll have the English, and basically this is just going through Song of Solomon chapter 5, starting at verse 10. Then we have Hebrew, and then we have the Septuagint, which is the Greek Old Testament. Okay, so first off, we have beloved. All right. And as we saw and we read in Malachi 3, he's called the beloved. Then we have he is white. White in Hebrew is dazzling, bright, sunny, clear, evident, glowing. It's actually an unusual word. All right. But in the Greek, it's leukos. Okay. And this word is the angel of the covenant sits on a white leukos cloud that we read in Revelation 14. And we can see that what's coded in Song of Solomon are the 4 horses. So the white here relates to the white horse because that's the word leukos in Revelation chapter 6. Then my beloved is white and ruddy. Okay. Ruddy is Adam. Okay. Red, ruddy. And this is a word describing the horse. Okay. Of Zechariah, because that's in Hebrew. Okay. And the word ruby, Adam, is the word describing the horse in Zechariah chapter 6. Okay. And this relates to Adam, the son of Adam. Okay. The son of man. All right. So that's again why the angel of the covenant is like the Son of Man, as we saw in Revelation 14. Now the word in Greek is red, puros, and that's exactly the same word used in Revelation chapter 6. He is chiefest. Now this is banner in the Hebrew, really. The root word here is the standard. When the children of Israel assembled, they assembled with banners, lion, ox, man, eagle. So he's really, the banner is the order of the cherubim, lion, ox, man, eagle. So again, this is going to reflect the cherubim, okay? And remember how he roared as a lion. Okay, so the first of the tribes is the lion of the tribe of Judah, and that's the banner. Then it's 10,000s, okay? Hebrew, it's rebabah, okay, 10,000, but in Greek, it's myriads, or myrias. And this relates to the myriads, or myriads in Greek, of angels, which we see in Revelation chapter 5 and in the Septuagint in Daniel 7. His head is fine gold, okay, fine gold. Paz, the finest, all right? And again, gold in the Greek here signifies the golden crown. He has a golden crown. All right. Then his locks or his hair is black. Okay. And again, the word black is the black horse, because this word black is used in Zechariah chapter 6. Okay. With the horse rider. So there you can see we had the white horse. Okay. The white horse. We had the red horse. Now we see the black horse. So that's why we have the black horse here, because again, in Greek, melos is exactly the black horse. If we take the word in Greek here and we look at it in the book of Revelation, we see it is clearly talking about the horse riders. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, guys. There's an angelic order happening here, which is very extraordinary in Song of Solomon, chapter 5. So we saw the horse. Then his hair is black like a raven or a crow. Okay. And his eyes are as eyes of a dove. So the raven and the dove, now, remember, he's called the angel of the covenant. So this is talking about God's covenant with Noah, because he also has around his head the rainbow. Okay, so this is the raven and the dove talking about the covenant. Then he stands, and then there's the rivers of water. All right, Hydor, and this compares to the angel standing with his foot on the sea. And then he's washed, all right, in milk, it says in Song of Solomon chapter 5. Well, the washing, as we described before, he washes, meaning to bathe, all right, wash, cleanse. This is the fuller soap we talked about in Malachi 3. And then he has a bed in Hebrew, or a raised bed of the gardens. But in the Septuagint, they use the word bowls. Yes, that's right. The same word for bowls in Revelation is the word bowls right here, and related to his cheeks. His cheeks were a bed, okay, or bowls, vial, all right, with the spices, the fragrances. So that's what we're saying. They have the fragrances that are poured out and that are released, okay, as the prayers of the saints rise, okay, they rise before the throne and for the angelic orders. And the sweet, remember how we saw the sweet, okay, sweet here, all right, it's going to be, there's another sweet that's later, we couldn't fit it, but remember how he ate the scroll, all right, or the book, and the scroll was in his mouth, sweet as honey. All right, so that's what the sweet means. But here in the Hebrew, it's maraka from raka, and this is the apocryphy of the perfume oil, or the oil, the anointing oil in Exodus chapter 30. And then in the Greek, it talks about the same thing, which is basically a word like myrrh. Now, it says flowers in the King James, but really it's towers. So Migdal is a tower. All right, and this is referring to Malachi 3. Again, remember how we read in Malachi 3, he comes into the temple. Then we have the lilies, all right. His mouth is as lilies, his lips are as lilies. And lilies is Shushan, okay. A lily is Shushan, Shin Nun, Shushan, the palace, okay. So it's in the palace that Daniel's at, and of course the book of Esther takes place in the palace at Shushan. And the root word for Shushan is rejoice, all right. And we can see Shushan, rejoice, in Psalm 19:5, okay. Now the lily in Greek relates to look to the lilies of the field in Matthew 6 and 12. So there's a lot much more here, guys, if you want to do the study. I'm not going to take all the time into the notes. But then it says he is dropping. Now, dropping means to prophesy. And remember, this compares to the mystery of God finished as he declared to the prophets. All right. And then he's as myrrh, and that's drops of myrrh. And this is in the Greek, Smyrna, just like the church at Smyrna. But again, the prayers of the saints. All right, so that's our page 1 of Song of Solomon chapter 5. And we're just going through showing you everything as it relates to the book of Revelation, what's happening here with the angel of the covenant. And his hands were gold rings. Now, another thing I couldn't really fit here is before his head was fine gold. His head was fine gold. And then it says his hands turned to gold. So what this represents is the seal of God is both on the hand and on the forehead. It's on the hand for the doing the works of God, his will, not our will, all right? And it's also on the forehead. So the hand and the forehead, they turn gold, all right? And then it talks about rings. And rings, Galel, is folding, a turning. And this relates to the Gilgal, or the Galgal wheels, okay? The angelic orphanen, angels that are the wheels, okay? And the wheels are the color beryl. Well, he is also the color beryl. And in the Hebrew, this is Tarshish, which is a precious stone, crystallite. They describe it in the King James as yellow jasper. But this is the color of the wheels in Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 16. So we know that the rings here is relating to the wheels. So this one angel more or less can explain all the angelic orders. Now in the Greek, it's Tharsis stone, okay? And it describes this as pale green. So what we're saying is this gives us our final of the horses, because now we got pale green. We saw the white horse, the red horse, the black horse. Now we get the pale green. So this completes all the 4 horses. And it's also berylos. It's a similar word in the Septuagint. Sometimes they use basically the word beryl, which is the 8th foundation stone on New Jerusalem. Okay, so this is amazing, guys. We're seeing the horse riders. We're seeing the wheels. We're seeing everything here fulfilling perfectly all the orders, the angelic orders, in throughout the book of Revelation. So then there's another interesting word. Let's get it on the screen here. And it is here. It is bright. And that is eset. It is a plate. It is a slab, okay? Something fabricated. And what this is this is a writing tablet, okay? So just as we were saying, guys, there's a writing tablet, all right? There's a writing tablet, and that is what it says in the Septuagint, okay? So his belly, all right, it's more or less describing something that's somewhat like the priest's breastplate, okay, where we have precious stones. Like, see how we saw the beryl? That's one of the precious stones on the breastplate. So, but they describe this as a writing tablet in the Greek, which is amazing, because this confirms what we saw in Isaiah chapter 8, verse 1, the tablet for writing. Okay, that's what we shared in the last video, the writing tablet, all right, which is a tablet for writing, a mirror, it's glass, flat, and shiny. Okay, and again, we found this word in Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 2, as a writing tablet, which is the same word in Luke 1, chapter 1. So now what we see is that we have the writing tablet, which is being expressed as a writing tablet, but it's also representing this little book and the scroll. So now you see the writing tablet, you can see the little book in his hand, and the scroll is all kind of related to the same thing. All right, so he has the book and the scroll, he has the prophecy. All right, and then it's ivory. All right, and that it's ivory, so he's in the temple. So it's described as an ivory temple in Psalm 45, verse 8. And this is, in the Greek, it's basically the word we get in English, elephant. And upon the stone of this tablet, all right, is sapphires. Sapphire in the Greek, okay? And again, this is related to the breastplate and also the order around the throne, sapphire. Now his legs are pillars, all right? And remember how we saw in Revelation 10, his feet were as pillars of fire. Stylos. So Septuagint uses stylos, just like Revelation 10 uses stylos. Perfect alignment, again, of the pillars. So this is definitely the angel of the covenant. And then the Septuagint and the King James use the word marble, but in the Hebrew, it is linen. So he is clothed in fine linen. This is the order of the men clothed in fine linen. So in Hebrew, this is shesh, which is linen, fine twined. Okay, and then there are other words for linen that we can see in Ezekiel 9, Daniel 10, and 12. All right, and we have some notes here, but this relates to the order of the seven angels with the seven bowls. They're clothed in linen. Now, the angel of the covenant is also clothed in linen, and he is in Daniel 10 and Daniel 12. We have other videos on that. We don't have the time now. All right. Then, upon sockets. Now, this is another interesting word, sockets. In the King James is Eden. That's right, Eden, just like we say the Garden of Eden. All right. Now, in the Hebrew, it's the first vowel. All right, we pronounce it the same, but in Hebrew it's a aleph, dalet, nun, whereas it's an ayin, dalet, nun of the actual Eden. But we believe that this is referring to Eden. Now the root word here is Adon, Lord, Master. All right, and here what it means is this socket. All right, is kind of describing a foundation, and that's what the Septuagint does. Is talks about the foundation and the word. Related to the foundations of New Jerusalem. All right. And then sockets of fine gold, paz. And again, this is golden, related to his golden crown in Revelation 14:14. And the bolt. Well, what's the bolt? It is the stylus. It is the pen. I'm showing the pen here because look, the bolt relates to the bolt that you put in your door. So you can see I'm staying in an old house, and we literally have the bolt of the old style where you take it and you run it across, and that's the word. But we're also suggesting that the bolt here is relating to a etching chisel or pen. So again, the stylus, all right, and the bolts, all right, that we can see in this chapter 5 here. This relates to the stylus or pen, heret in the Hebrew, to write and engrave. So just like we saw, there was the tablet. The tablet was in Isaiah chapter 8. Well, it also talks about the tablet and the stylus. And this is huge for us because the chisel or engraver was also found in Mount Ebal. Someone emailed me this after I had posted the last video because we were saying that when the angel has the tablet, it's signifying that the tables of stone will come out, and that is what we saw, okay, with the Ebal curse. But not only that, there was a stylus that also came out. So the tablet connects to the little book, okay, as we explained, the little book, the scroll, okay, of memorial, the scroll, and it relates to bind up the testimony, seal the Torah among the disciples. So guys, this is our notes on the video, Angel of the Covenant in Song of Solomon, chapter 5. So what have we learned? We have learned many things. Okay guys, that concludes it. I kind of had an audio issue here at the end as we conclude the message. But what have we learned? We've learned many things. We've learned about the angel of the covenant we see throughout the book of Revelation, the mighty angel with the little book, the mighty angel with the sickle. We find his details of how he fulfills the role. As Christ said, he would send his angel to testify to the Ekklesia. We believe his appearance in the Ekklesia is now in preparation for Christ, that he will purify as a refiner's fire the sons of Levi, that he would wash as a fuller's soap, as we could see in Malachi. So guys, this will be part of a series of messages in a playlist or showcase on Vimeo called The Seven Thunders. And what we'll do is we'll make the notes that we posted here available to you on the website in a blog post. So go to leelandjones.com and then click blog, and then the top blog post that we'll make will include the scanned pages of the 2 pages here today, and we'll include some other ones as well in a blog post from previous videos to explain these great mysteries. So guys, thanks for watching. And a voice came from the throne saying, "Praise our God, all you his servants that fear his name, both small and great."